This video demonstrates the new material painting feature in Ultra Engine. Now, material painting is a per vertex effect. So the first thing we're going to do is select the faces that we want to work on, and then hit the subdivision button a couple of times and add some vertices. You don't need a huge density of vertices. About one every meter or so is good. So I'll divide that up a few times, and then I'll give it about 3 slices vertically. So boxes will subdivide into quads, and if you have other shapes, they'll subdivide a little bit differently. The X and Y axes will act like the outer and inner subdivision levels, but either way works. Now let's select the material painting tool, and we're just going to start painting this dirt texture into the edges. And I usually like to overpaint a little bit, and then I go back and erase the excess. Then I'll add a little bit in the middle, just to break up the tiling. If we go back to the face mode, we can see the exact materials that we're using on each face. We can use up to 4 different materials per face, and we have a lot of different controls here. We can add some noise to this. That just makes it look a little bit more random. Let's do the same thing here. Now I'm going to add another layer, and I have this nice construction debris, and I want to make sure that it only appears on the object I'm picking, because I only want this to appear on the floor, not the wall. And this material actually uses displacement map and tessellation, so we'll get all this nice geometry popping out of the floor when we use it. Let's just add some noise to that and see what that does. Oops, wrong layer. There we go. So without a lot of effort, this is looking pretty good. This would be very difficult to achieve through other techniques. But with the material painting, we can get something that looks really good in just a couple of minutes without a huge amount of effort, and you don't have to be an expert artist to use it. Now let's take a look at another scene that we spent a little bit more time on, and you can see some of the same materials in use here. Again, that tessellation is really making the ground pop. And now compare this to the original unpainted scene. You can see how plain everything looks. Even though the textures are good, but the tiling is very obvious. There's not any unique detail on the floor. It's really hard to get good results without this technique. You see a lot of contrast between the floor and the wall. It just looks like, it doesn't look like they're part of the same scene. And then compare that to the scene with the material painting applied, and it's just so much easier to get everything looking good together. You've got the grime in the corners, the details on the floor. It just looks so much better. So this is going to make such a big difference in the visual quality of your games, and I think it's really going to bring your games to the next level.